You are listening to the Soulless Minions of Orthodoxy, alternative DVD commentaries. Hello, my name is Josh, and sitting with me in the Soulless Minions studios is Justin. Say hello.
Hello.
Today, the movie we're going to be watching together is Top Gun from 1986. We figured this was a good time to pull out Top Gun because the Top Gun Maverick trailer recently dropped, and it got us really excited for Top Gun. We've watched Top Gun recently, really enjoyed it, so we wanted to turn around and do a commentary on it. So if you want to watch the movie with us, go ahead and get it to after the Paramount logo. Is that right? Paramount logo is faded to black.
Yes.
And pause there. All right, set that up. When you hear me say on pause, unpause with me, and we'll watch the movie together in sync. Here comes the countdown. 3, 2, 1, unpause. All right, Paramount Pictures presents... So, we're doing Top Gun, and Justin just saw me with some notes in my hand. So, yeah, I've got some special sauce that I wanted to...
Already? Is it like scene specific or...
Okay, yeah, a little bit. Sort of. Let me...
Wait. Hold on. Should we read this?
Yeah, on March 3rd, 1969, the United States Navy established an elite school for the top 1% of its pilots. Its purpose was to teach the lost art of aerial combat and to ensure that the handful of men who graduated were the best fighter pilots in the world. They succeeded. Fuck. I didn't read it fast enough. Suffice it to say, it's called Top Gun.
They said the Navy calls it the fighter weapons school, but the flyers call it ... Top Gun.
Actually, it's : Top Gun.
I'm sorry.
It's not called fuck, as I just said. But anyway, yeah. So the special sauce, I can start with this music that you're hearing in the background is from Harold Faltermeyer.
Yeah, I noticed his name in the credits when we rewatched it the other night.
He has done Beverly Hills Cop, Fletch Lives. And if you look on the IMDb, he actually has a plethora of credits. And I noticed it's mostly because he was
the Bruckheimer guy, right? There he is.
Yeah, he was, but he was also the writer of a very, very popular hit disco song that's been used in a lot of movies and TV shows. It's called Hot Stuff. Looking for some hot stuff.
Oh, really?
Need some hot stuff, baby, tonight.
Well, I want to talk about this more. I do.
Okay.
But since we're in the scene,
yeah, right.
I love this opening.
Yeah, the opening is pretty
melodic.
Badass. Yeah, the music is awesome.
The music is. I mean, this, and when I say the music, I mean the orchestral. It's very sparse in this movie because it's mostly, vocal music.
The score is not officially available anywhere.
Right. But
you can find this track.
Yeah.
This opening track is available.
And I love this opening track with the bell. Like you and I were saying when we rewatched this the other night, no other movie really, that's Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a bell has certainly
signature.
been used in other movies, but not quite.
And they
like
use it
this.
in that teaser trailer for Top Gun Maverick.
Well, hell yeah, they do, because it's so distinct. That tells you how distinctive it is that they chose to do that.
Yeah.
And not Danger Zone, for example.
Yeah.
Like, people know that. Bong,
Oh, right.
It's like doing, if you're going to do a Law show and you're connected to that universe, if you hear bong bong, you know you're watching Law and Order. And then this piece of score segues very nicely into Danger Zone, which
is another signature sound.
100%. But it really pumps you up. It really gets you in the spirit for this movie.
Well, I think that Danger Zone, the song by Kenny Loggins, which we're hearing right now, is actually an analogy for something else. Okay. It's not just about flying jets.
Okay.
I think that it is more about having sex. Okay. Let me go ahead and read the lyrics. Revving up your engine. Listen to her howl and roar. Metal under tension. Begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. Ride into the danger zone. Heading into twilight. Spreading out her wings tonight. She got you jumping off the track and shoving into overdrive. I think it's a little bit of analogous to having sex.
I could see it going both ways, honestly. Yes. That it's very much about cars and racing and all that, but also, yes, I can see the.
You'll never say hello to you, until you get it on the red line overload. You'll never know what you can do until you get it up as high as you can go. Yeah, I think there's a little bit. Okay. But what I wanted to say, one other thing I wanted to say about the opening, we kind of talked over the credits, but it was written by Jim Cash and Jack Epps Jr.
Right.
Which they were frequent collaborators together. One of them has passed away, but one of them was he was a professor of English literature, but they wrote Turner and Hooch, Dick Tracy, and one of our favorites, which is nobody else's favorite, The Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas.
Nobody likes that movie.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
And the photography is I think I forgot to write down.
If you told me right now,
I think I forgot to write down the name of the cinematographer.
I know this is not the cinematographer, but if you told me right now that Peter Hyams did the cinematography for this movie, no, I know he didn't.
I know,
but if you told me he did, I would believe you because this movie looks greasy.
Yes, it looks very greasy, but it's also the grease is very. It follows through on Tony Scott's other movies.
Oh, 100%.
Beverly Hills Cop 2, Days of Thunder, Crimson Tide, all featuring men that are very sweaty.
Also, what is it? Last Man Standing? Wasn't that a Bruckheimer movie?
Probably Bruckheimer, but Tony Scott don't think he directed that one.
Right. So let's jump in, man.
So we're seeing the opening here, which is kind of a setup for the ending as well.
Yeah.
The opening kind of mirrors the ending. It's a very similar setup, but the ending actually has stakes.
Right.
The enemy is not referred to as into what nationality they are.
Boy, you're right. They don't.
In the script, it was said that they were North Korean.
Okay.
But they're never referred to. I mean, you see the like they have a star insignia or logo on their helmet, and you're maybe thinking it's Russian, but at least the script said at the end of the movie they're supposed to be North Korean, but they left it vague on purpose. So, and that's fine.
That's a good choice.
That's fine.
Because in real life, the pilots wouldn't. It's still another plane. Doesn't matter who's flying it. You know.
Yeah.
So, like you said, this mirrors the ending,
right?
And only this time, I wouldn't say they have no stakes, but it's made clear. I want to say right at the beginning of this engagement that it seems like they're both, the Americans and the other pilots are not toying with each other in a playful sense, but it seems pretty clear that neither one is willing to fire first. So as long as they don't do that, like they're going to get out of this, and this becomes very quickly, I think, more of a test of
it's dick measuring.
Yeah, it's dick measuring. It's a measuring of their skill without actual death. But there are real stakes. I mean, like they could kill each other,
They could.
But it seems clear, like Maverick says, he'd have fired already. He's just dicking with us, They're obviously at each other's border, so it's just like you said, dick measuring. It's hey, back off. Look how cool I am. I can do this to you. But as far as consequences, I actually like that. I like this opening, where, especially given that no one fired a shot, I like that. Right after this engagement, Cougar he's broken after this. Like these guys are hot shots. They are, pardon the pun, mavericks. And it's all fun and games, though, until he got a tone lock on him. And then he was like, oh, my God, my life could have just been over.
I don't think it was ever fun and games for Cougar.
For all of them, and I want to say even including Cougar, I mean, I don't think anyone took it quite so seriously until that tone lock hit him. And he looked at that picture of his family and he thought, oh, my gosh, this could be it. Now we're watching.
We just saw the impossible shot of Maverick's plane inverted over the MiG, which physically was not possible. It couldn't happen. Well, not that close.
Not that close. No. Like when they show it from the farther shot.
Yeah.
That looks a little more realistic.
Well, it was real.
Well, I don't think I think that was a trick of the angle of the camera. Okay. I don't think he was totally over him. But yes, when they cut to that profile shot, you're like, okay, that's
their planes
like
would be touching each other.
Like
they would be hugging.
They're what do you call it? The fin thing that sticks
tail?
out? The tail. Their tails would be touching.
Yeah.
Yes, that's ludicrous. But here we go. Now Cougar is messed up, and he's afraid. He's having basically a panic attack.
So it's Cougar and Merlin. Merlin is Tim Robbins,
right?
Which is forgettable, almost forgettable, because he's got that helmet on through most of the movie.
Whenever you see him, for the most part,
he only takes it off at the ends, and then you were like, "Oh, it's Tim Robbins."
Right.
Like, where did he come from?
And this guy, his name is something. Is it Rockwell? Isn't he from Christine?
Yes, he's in Christine.
He's other things too, but that's mainly what I know him from. Yeah. It's very movie cliche, but I dig this scene that Maverick defies the orders to get off the deck real quick, whip around, and help Cougar land as best he could. I thought that was cool, and again, I dig that this opening there was no.
Well, in terms of setup, it gives you a lot of information in a very short period of time.
Yeah,
you get you get the main player. You get his character without much dialogue.
Yeah.
And you get technical information without being blown over your head, like dogfighting, missile lock, just technical terms brought to you, the catapult, all this stuff brought to you that comes to play later, that's delivered to you without it feeling very exposition-y.
That's a very good point. They really did lay out a lot of information, and as far as the main character, we get the sense that he is
he's a literal maverick.
He's a rule breaker. He's cool under pressure.
Well, I think, and I'm not trying to slight anyone, but maybe people don't know what Maverick means. But if his code name was Rebel, it would be Rebel. Why do you keep rebelling all the time?
Yeah, I know. I get
it. But yeah, his name literally means he doesn't follow. He's independently minded. He goes against what's commonly done.
Yeah.
So.
And he has the skill to match, and he knows it. He can do those things because he has the ability to get himself out of situations. But I do almost wish in this scene, because even though, like we said, there was no life. I don't want to say there was not life or death stakes, because that could have if someone made a bad decision, that could have been life or death. What they were doing with those other planes, but I do wish they had maybe shown just a little bit of humanity out of Maverick in that, because for all we know, that's the first time he's ever encountered an enemy airplane.
Humanity involved? You mean with the MiG?
Yeah,
interactions with the MiG.
Yeah, and what I mean is some sort of fear or not hesitation, but just it's a scary thing, even if it was afterwards going, hey.
I don't know if that would have been appropriate.
Maybe not in the moment.
In the beginning of the movie.
But if after, when he's talking to Goose, if Goose was like, that was fun, Mav, but holy shit, I was scared. If he said, hey, Cougar, I was scared too, bro, but, I couldn't let that get in my way. Something to show that he's human.
I can't agree with you on that one.
Really?
I think it would have been a mistake to put that in the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
I think later... In a subtle way, this is
the only sense of realism we get until the end. I just want to know that he has some sense of mortality.
I don't mind. Yeah, I get that. Like, you don't want him to be perfect. You don't want him to not have fear. Yeah. But I think that in the beginning would be the wrong place to put it. That's all.
I think it would have been all in how they did it, but it's not there anyway. So. Mm-hmm. So he helped Cougar land, and now he's about to get balled out for it a little bit.
Right. By Major Strickland.
Yeah.
No, he's not a major. That's an army.
But I do like. I actually like this scene with Strickland, because first he deals with Cougar, and Cougar walks in there to say, "Sorry, sir, I messed up," and rather than Strickland jumping down his throat, which he does not do, he just says, "Hey, kid. That would have rattled me. That's scary. It's okay. You'll be okay." He didn't bawl him out at all, for losing it. He tried to kind of coach him through it. But, Cougar had already made up his mind. And same thing with Maverick. He starts off, he basically gives him a compliment sandwich where he starts off going, that was one of the bravest things I've ever seen. It was also entirely stupid. That's a $30 million aircraft you should have landed. But then he turns around and goes, and I'm also sending you to Top Gun because you're a badass.
Right.
Again, compliment sandwich. And it's like Tom Skerritt says when he's giving his opening speech to the Top Gun guys. Basically, this is a competition. I want to find out who's best, but just remember, guys, we're all on the same team. Like, don't be dicks, And that's basically the life Strickland leaves. Sure, Maverick drives him insane, but he's an American, and he's like, we're on the same team, and you're awesome, and I want you to fight for America.
America. Fuck yeah.
This movie is all American. I mean, I do believe I read, because I read some articles about this after we rewatched it, and they talked about how naval recruitment went way up after this movie.
They set up like booths outside the movie to
I believe it.
And yeah.
I probably would have signed up.
I mean, it made me want to fly jets when I was a
My
kid.
first question would have been, do they have air conditioners on aircraft carriers, guys? Because this looks like miserable.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. It's like, why is it so hot?
I know. It's like, gosh.
I think that, I was trying to look into the subtext of the sweat, and I was thinking that the sweat has something to do with masculinity.
That's an interesting idea. Unless it could just obviously be something as simple as Tony Scott's way of showing that this is an intense.
I think the sweat has to come from the aggression or the tense moment that you happen to be in. If you notice, look at the moments when they're happening while we're watching this, when they're really the most sweaty, and it's usually when there's some kind of tension in the room.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, the volleyball scene, you wouldn't think it's pretty carefree, but they're actually it's not. It's very tense because it's two opposing forces fighting against each other.
Yeah, and here at the Top Gun briefing, it's clearly warm. They all have a layer of grease, but they're not sweating balls like they were in Strickland's office.
No.
I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our.
But they're on ground, so maybe they do have air conditioning.
Okay, I'm gonna open the jar of more of that special sauce I was telling you about.
All right.
Since we're getting introduced to the cadre of characters here. Okay, so most of these pilots here are referred to by their call sign.
That's true.
Most of them are not referred to by first name. We know that Maverick's name is Pete Mitchell, right?
Right.
But
which I bet you grab 9 out of 10 people and no one's going to know that.
No, because most of the time they just refer to him as Maverick.
Yeah.
So we've got Iceman, Slider, Hollywood, Wolfman, Merlin, Sundown. I think that's all I can remember off the top of my head. I think those are the main ones anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of a feeling does that evoke for you, all those names?
Say them again.
Okay. Iceman,
Yeah.
Slider, Hollywood, Wolfman, Merlin, Sundown. What comes to mind?
Strength, masculinity, predators even.
Okay, good. That's exactly what came to my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
They're all kind of caricatures of this lone masculine man, like the Lone Ranger, kind of a thing, right?
Except Goose.
Exactly my point. Yes.
And he dies.
No, you're onto it. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Goose, Anthony Edwards, whose name is Nicholas.
Is it?
His character's name is Nicholas.
He doesn't fit in this group of guys.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He's the only person with a call sign that's feminine.
Okay.
Goose is feminine for... There's Goose and Gander. Gander is the male version. Goose is feminine.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Oh, that I've heard.
Yes.
Okay.
So Goose is feminine. I'm suggesting, all right, that Goose
is the bitch.
Goose is the feminine side of Maverick.
Oh, I get what you mean.
There's a little bit more to it than there's a little bit more to it than that.
No, I get it. It's like a marriage.
Yes, but Goose is referred to multiple times as Mother Goose. Okay? And there's a scene where they actually play with the dynamic. I think because Kelly McGillis is walking up, and it's Goose and Maverick standing in the hallway, and then Maverick says, "Okay, I'll see you tonight, dear." They're kind of joking, right? Anyway, my point being is that I'm looking at Maverick's psyche, right? And I think that Goose represents part of his psyche, this emotional, feminine, familial side.
Yeah.
And I'm also suggesting here, who they're talking about right now, Iceman, represents another part of Maverick's psyche. Okay? And that's going to be his logical, rational side.
Okay.
Because when Iceman comes up to him...
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying is the trinity of Maverick, Goose, and Iceman are not unlike the trinity of Kirk, McCoy, and Spock. Goose is McCoy, Iceman is Spock, and Kirk is Maverick, the guy in between.
Yes, you could say that.
Right.
In this moment right here, he just said, "Who's the best pilot?" Right?
Yeah.
He said, "Have you figured it out yet?" I don't think, if you think if Iceman is a part of Maverick's own psyche, of his own mind, of his identity, this is actually Maverick battling his own conscience, because he says, "Haven't you figured it out yet?" Well, what? Who's the best pilot? That's Maverick. He's really worrying about who is the best pilot. Okay? But Iceman is kind of like Maverick's foil. He's the complete opposite of Maverick. Maverick literally flies by the seat of his pants because everyone says it throughout the whole movie.
Right.
Iceman, he's called by Anthony Edwards Iceman. He says because he flies ice cold. He's very by the book, by the numbers.
Right.
Maverick is the complete opposite of that. And it's not till the end, when they work together, Iceman and Maverick, that Maverick becomes whole again. He becomes a complete person. Now, there's more to this. Okay, there's more.
So.
There's more. Okay, Kelly McGillis is on screen. Okay. I'm now also suggesting that Kelly McGillis's character, who's called Charlie.
Yeah.
Her call sign is Charlie. We never get her real name. Charlie. Charlie replaces.
Do we never get her real?
Charlie Hold on. Fuck. Okay. Hold on. I wanted to read the lyrics to this song because this is one of the moments we fast forwarded through when we watched earlier.
Yeah, I don't care for this.
This is the infamous
Singing scene. Yeah.
This is by the Righteous Brothers. It's called "You've Lost That Love and Feeling," and it's sold in the movie as this romantic kind of hoorah song.
Yeah,
but it's a song about heartache and breakup. Let me read the lyrics. Okay, so you never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips, and there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, I know it. You've lost that love and feeling. Whoa, that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Now there's no welcome look in your eyes when I reach for you. And now you're starting to criticize the little things I do. It makes me just feel like crying. 'Cause baby, something beautiful's dying. You've lost that love and feeling. Oh, she just said her name. Oh, did she?
Charlotte Blackwood.
Okay, Charlie. I was wrong. Charlie. Okay. But you see what I mean? By the lyrics?
Yeah.
It's about a love that's died.
I get it. But it sounds peppy and fun.
It sounds romantic and hoorah-like. Because
I get it.
That's
yes.
what wraps up the movie with that curtain call. And it works beautifully until you actually read the words and you're like, okay, that doesn't quite work.
Right.
Not fully. Although you could maybe suggest that they're getting back that love and feeling.
I got it.
Okay, well, don't look at me like
no. I applaud your in-depth thinking on this. I really do.
Yeah, I can see it in the rolling of your eyes. But okay, what I wanted to say was that Charlotte Blackwood, Charlie here, right?
Right.
Kelly McGillis replaces Goose as the feminine maternal core. Because not long after they sleep together, Goose dies.
I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna kind of disagree with you on that one. I would say if we're gonna go,
that guy, by the way, that's the real Viper.
What do you mean?
That guy on the guy that she came to the date with. Yes.
The plane. What?
Yeah, that old guy that she's in there with.
Yeah.
That's the real Viper in real life.
Oh, you mean the instructor of Top Gun?
Well, yeah, the character he was based on.
Oh, okay.
That's the real guy.
Yeah, see, that's the funny thing. I've seen lots of, and I understand this is a fucking blockbuster Hollywood movie.
Oh, well, yeah.
I know the real Top Gun pilots look nothing like this. Like, they are average Joe looking dudes. They're not movie stars. You know, these are hardworking guys that do a lot of studying and all that. And, you know, like they even point out in this movie, like, very few people ever have gotten in a dogfight. You know, it's like really rare, you know.
Well, that's one of the things they mentioned in the trailer.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, that's just reality. But anyway, to follow up your thought, and this is the perfect time to talk about it because this part of the movie is utterly uninteresting to me.
Okay, well, if you're not watching with us, this is just after the song and they're in the bathroom.
He's trying to get carnal knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's one thing I wanted to mention in my notes. Like, when he said, okay, carnal knowledge of a lady this time, I'm like, wait a minute, what happened the other time?
Well, he met a tranny.
I was like, well, was it a dude? And he was gay for a moment? Like, what happened? I want to know what happened.
No, that's one of those stories that's better left unsaid. So, okay, I think we should wrap up this thought with this, okay? So, I like your idea that Goose represents a side of Maverick and all of that. However, as far as Charlie replacing Goose for Maverick in that sense, I wouldn't say that's the case, because I would say Goose is more like his older brother and his, not so much his conscience, although he does act as his Geppetto a little bit, but more so just that wise older brother that he doesn't have the level of skill that Maverick has, but he's skilled himself, and he's one of the few people that Maverick will actually listen to. But I think it's more like a brother thing, and he's sort of, he's like an emotional support system for Maverick.
Well, I think you're right. Yes, I'm not saying that's the only thing he could be.
Well, yes,
no.
But I think that Charlie does not fill that role. I think Charlie is more maternal, and I think. I think Maverick at this point in his life,
I think she's that too.
You know, the sequel most likely is very different, but I think Maverick is so young in this movie that he's almost like a baby, you know, and he needs some sort of family. He needs someone to look after him in a way, and I think Charlie does that. I think in her own way she looks at him like a kid, and even though they have this physical relationship later, I don't think they'll ever work, because she was always the adult and he was the kid. And by the time he grows into manhood, truly, I think it's too late. You know, they've established almost a mother-son, not in a creepy way kind of a thing. But that's my thought, that it's not so much that she replaces Goose in the same sense, the conscience sense. I think she just represents a familial type of thing that he very much needs. In fact, when he's got no one, where does he turn? Viper. He turns to a father figure because he's got no one to turn to. When Goose is dead, he goes up to Meg Ryan. Of course, it's to give her something, and of course he has to see her. But what she does as a mother. She tells him, no matter what she's feeling in that moment, she's feeling grief and all that stuff, she sucks it up because she knows that Maverick is a child emotionally. And she tells him, Goose would fly without you. He would hate it, but he'd fly without you. In other words, she's giving him what he needs to move on and move forward. And then she leaves because she's got her own shit to deal with, but she gives him what he needs like a mother. And then when she's gone, he goes to Viper. He's got no one, you know. And he's always in search of that external validation, which all of these people provide. So that's my take on your comments.
And that's fair. And I agree. I don't think that my opening statements, so to speak, were the only way to look at it. I think it's a combination of those things. But you mentioned Viper, which is another character I wanted to touch on, which is something that we slightly mentioned earlier. Oh, but I wanted to mention this scene here too. This moment here between Iceman and Maverick, when Iceman is basically asking him, like, well, where were you? Where was Cougar when you were showboating with this MiG?
Right.
You weren't covering him. Like, I think this is another moment where this is Maverick being critical of himself. If Iceman is a part of his personality, his logical side, Maverick knows he should not leave his wingman. He knows that. He is being critical of himself. I mean, he knows, but he did it anyway. Like, his instinctive, like, side is still dominant over that rational side. They haven't met that. There's no bridge yet. Okay, clearly that didn't work for you. Okay, but that's all right. Let me go back to something else, and that's to Viper. Okay. Now, throughout the whole movie, and it's not heavily addressed, they talk about Maverick's dad, Duke Mitchell. Now, we don't hear his name actually said that often. I think Goose says at one point they wouldn't let you into, naval school because you're Duke Mitchell's kid or something like that. But you get the feeling that there was something that happened with his dad, and that his dad had a reputation too. But you also find out that his dad died in some mysterious means while flying. And that also later you find out that his mother died, Maverick's mother died not long after his father died. So he's an orphan.
Yeah.
At a very young age.
Which is why he's desperately searching for family.
And so Viper, in a sense, becomes a surrogate father. Tom Skerritt becomes a surrogate father to him. He's the only connection to his father that he really has, because Viper, it's Tom Skerritt, says he was there.
Yeah.
So he becomes kind of like a father figure. And yes, I agree, Kelly McGillis, Charlie, becomes kind of like a motherly figure to him. She is older than he is. That's mentioned.
Oh, it's obvious.
Well, and it's obvious, yeah. Also, you know what's funny? In the background of this movie, the trivia, Charlie Sheen was considered to be Maverick, but he was said to be too young.
That's interesting.
And then he became Topper Harley. But you know who else was also was going to be cast in this movie? Matthew Modine. He was going to be Maverick. He turned it down. He said he didn't agree with the politics, so he turned it down.
Okay. Yeah. I bet he's kicking himself for that one.
Well, he's not the only person that turned down being involved in this. Bryan Adams said the same thing. They wanted to use some of his music, and he said no because he felt it glorified war.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I was going to say something about your comments. You know what this movie is? All of your
Chester's dead. Yeehaw.
All of your comments here have led me to realize what this movie is.
And what would that be?
It's a coming of age movie, because Maverick, while legally an adult, clearly,
yes,
I think is still very much growing. And I think every character he's encountering, your Iceman, Goose, Charlie, Viper, they all impart something to him that helps him grow. They are all part of his growth process. And Maverick, at the end, is a different person. He's had an arc because of all of these people. And I in a way, I think this is he's like Luke Skywalker. He's all raw skill, but he has it's not tempered with experience or wisdom, which all of these other people help impart to him. Kelly McGillis tells him time and time again, in the function of her job, all of your actions are wrong, technically. But she says, I can't say that in there because that's not my job. My job is to point out the correct way to do things. Technically, you do everything wrong, but you're a genius at what you do, and it always works. But sooner or later, it's not going to work if you don't follow some rules. You know what I mean? And so she teaches him that lesson. Like you pointed out with Iceman. Iceman says, where were you when Cougar was having this issue? When he was being dogged by
He says it right here.
No. The other scene you were talking
He
about.
says, "You're unsafe."
Oh, yeah. And he is. He's reckless.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think Iceman, if we take Iceman just away from him being a part of his personality, I think Iceman is more or less pretending to be this hotshot guy. I think he's not really like that. I think there's a moment when he comes and consoles him. And I think that's more or less like his real personality. I think this kind of hotshot buff guy is kind of just like
I see what you're saying. I think Iceman as like the real guy is just more stiff and unfeeling. Mm-hmm. And like you said, I would tend to agree with you that the projection of the hotshot pilot, that's more of an act. Mm-hmm. And when he comes into, like you said, console Maverick when Goose dies, I don't. Goose is not not Goose. Iceman's not an asshole. You know, like, yes, he is Maverick's foil, but A, everything he says to him is 100% correct, and B, when it got serious, as in when Goose died, he was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. You know, we all like the guy. Like, there's no victory in that." And even when towards the end, when they're all summoned to battle, and he goes up to the Admiral guy and says, "Hey, I'm sorry to say this, but maybe he's not the right guy to fly with us." I don't think in that moment Iceman is at all thinking about, oh, he's going to show me up or anything like that. I think he's genuinely concerned, you know, that you can't trust Maverick, and he doesn't want to leave his ass hanging in the line. I don't think Iceman's life is very easy because, like you said, he's the rule follower. He's logical, and you know, it's hard to deal with Maverick.
Yeah. Well, here's a moment. This is when Viper is dressing him down. This is very much like a dad.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Disciplining his son. Basically, this is one of the few times you ever see Maverick actually intimidated by someone.
Oh yeah, he's totally intimidated by.
Oh yeah, completely.
Everyone is. And I like when, you know, I even said this when we were watching the movie. When the tower guys is yelling at Viper, like, hey, he buzzed my tower, I want butts, you know, and all that. And then Viper comes out. All he says is, yeah, that's about enough of that. That's it. That's all you need to say. You feel so disappointed in yourself, you know, when someone talks like that to you. And, you know, Maverick expected to be yelled at. Mm-hmm. He was ready to be yelled at. What he was not expecting was a calm, I'm disappointed in you, son. You know?
With his old man. Tell me one thing. If you had to go into battle, would you want him with you?
To follow our family analogy, I would say Jester is like the craggy old uncle. You know? But if you think about it,
Jester?
That's what I said.
What did you say?
I think I said Jester.
Okay.
Viper and Jester are basically Iceman and Maverick 30 years later working Top Gun together. Like when they go and do the training and Viper finally joins in, Viper's not stupid. He knows that everyone's going to try and get him, especially Maverick. So he plays possum and he draws them out so Jester can slip in behind him and kill him.
I don't think so.
These guys got a plan.
I don't think it's him and Goose 30 years in the future. I think it's
I said him and Iceman.
Oh, you did say Iceman.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I. That's
no,
what
it's like him and Ice.
Yeah, it is
30 years later.
That's basically what it would be. Yeah. But his name is. Oh, it's Michael Ironside. Okay, show some respect.
Yeah.
You know, famous actor. But his name is Jester, like a court jester. He's literally made a laughing stock out of. Literally, like right in this first, gun battle here.
Right.
They start laughing at him. Yeah, Chester's dead. It's like, okay, well, I think they took the name a little too literally.
Here's another scene to go along with your familial idea. Goose is basically telling him, hey, man, we almost just got kicked out today because of your shit. Two things you did that you did not need to do. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this is important to me, man. And you almost took it from me. Please don't do this again.
Not only is Goose possibly that
older brother type.
Well, I meant to say like the more feminine side of Maverick, but he's also the kind of anchor that anchors him to reality, because Goose is the only person Well, the only of the pilots, the young pilots, that has a family.
Well, that we know of.
Well, that we see.
Yeah.
So he is essentially the only family man.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, he anchors him to that sense of family, of realness, of just not being a loner. Like, he actually has a place.
Yeah.
And once that's cut off, I think, if it hadn't been for the Kelly McGillis character, for the Viper character, he just would have, just continued off on his lone wolf journey in a way.
Okay.
A loner? No, I own it.
All right. I mean, we've been waxing so philosophical that we are quite literally watching this movie go by.
Oh, yeah.
So one thing I mentioned...
Some of the brilliant subtext here is not so subtextual. But
so one thing I mentioned to you when we were rewatching this was that it really struck me that Kelly McGillis, her character, Charlie, is using Maverick.
In the beginning, a little bit, yeah.
Almost all of it.
Well, she's clearly attracted to him.
Oh, sure.
And she likes his aggressiveness. She comments on it several times.
Oh, sure. She thinks he's attractive. I mean, she's a human being, and she wants to get laid like anybody else. Mm-hmm. But
well, it's not.
I think her motivations are pretty darn clear and spelled out in the movie. She wants information that he has on that encounter he had at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
But
she also wants to get boned.
Yeah, and I think she's using one to get the other, and I want to say even in dialogue, she even basically tells him, "I want this, I want that," and yes, they get closer as the movie goes on, but when they end up together at the end, I really would have preferred if she never showed up in that bar, and that he just grows and moves on, because that felt false. Everything up to that I could buy. Because she gets the promotion that she wanted and she leaves. He had already lost Goose, but she leaves him anyway.
Yeah, he had kind of grown
beyond
her.
But it's not just that. I think she got what she wanted, so she was out. There was no reason for her to come back, and I didn't buy that she was in love with him or anything.
Well, I think the movie makers definitely wanted that to be at the center of it.
Well, yeah, of course. They wanted to get
a love
the girl
story
audience.
to bring us all in, male and female. But hey, we're talking over the infamous volleyball scene, the playing with the boys, and you pointed this out to me. Goose is the only one that doesn't take his shirt off.
Yeah. If I was playing the character of Goose with these same actors, I wouldn't take my shirt off either, because they are in obviously very good shape. And he was probably just skinny and white.
Well, you do see him with his shirt off later, after they get out of the shower.
But. Yeah, that's different, though. Not in a sexualized way.
Come on, we can take this game. No, we can't. We got it. I got some things I gotta take care of. Take care of? Just one more game. Please? For me? Sorry. You're sorry. Come on. For me?
Got to get a kind of karaoke / version of Take Your Breath Away. It's like it's a different orchestration of it.
Okay.
It's not like the official version by Berlin. And you know what I found out? This song was not initially it wasn't made for the movie. It was actually considered for 9.5 weeks.
Is that right?
Yeah. So like in Karate Kid, You're the Best Around.
Right. Yeah, that was for Rocky 4? No.
Rocky 3. They went with Eye of the Tiger.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
It was considered for like something else too, but nobody.
There was something else that
Flashdance.
was considered for 4 that didn't. I forget. I've mixed them up. But yes.
You mean it wasn't Living in America?
No, not that one.
Okay. So he comes over here and pretty brashly just says, "I'm gonna go take a shower."
Yeah.
I mean, it's like she's like, yeah, that does bother me.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like, right there, that's her reaction. She's like, what? But he doesn't actually take a shower. He never does.
How do we know that?
Oh, because he says after. Well, this scene we actually fast forwarded through too. But when I rewatched this earlier today.
Oh, did you?
He does say at the end of the scene, "Well, I'm gonna go take that shower."
Okay.
So he never does. So he must be pretty smelly throughout this whole thing.
Oh, he must stink.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. But this was another important thing that when we fast forwarded through this lovey-dovey stuff.
Yeah.
This is when he talks about his parents.
Right.
When she plays Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. He talks about when his father died and then when his mother died not long after that. But, you're right. The whole movie, it really does feel like she's just this big sister almost. He feels like a boy. Like
he does.
He just has a boy. Well, naturally, Tom Cruise had this boyish look anyway.
Well, not only that, literally, I feel like his voice hadn't changed. He sounds like a little kid.
A little.
He sounds so young, and she sounds like a woman. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like she's cradle robbing.
A little.
Yeah.
It does feel that way, doesn't it? Yeah. Because, like, you talk about cradle robbing right there in that moment, she had not given him any alcohol yet, and it's not until he mentioned it. So it's like she was keeping the forbidden fruit away from him, almost, in a sense.
And, she, through all of their encounters, not all of them, she is very much in control. He is the chaser. And
yes, it's later, though, when she submits to him.
Yeah, but like the elevator, for example. Mm-hmm. He just uses the moment to exert a little male force.
That's actually right after this scene.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But
oh, you know what? Which is actually I'll tell you there I'll tell you about it when we get
there.
But
But she's still like the adult to a child. She's still in control. And yes, like you said, she submits to him. But at the same time, it's always like, I feel like she's going to say, okay, well, have fun at school. I have to go to work now,
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
But she also submitted.
I mean, she even refers to him as a student because technically he is to her.
Yeah.
Yes, you can have adult students. I'm fully aware of that. Mm-hmm. But
well, there's still, even if you're adults, there is still that kind of forbidden aspect of teacher-student.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, but she also submits to him because in reality, he wore lifts to make himself taller. So
right.
He could tower over her because she's 5'10", he's 5'7".
Right.
So an actor thing, you just can't look shorter than the
would
lady.
Just look weird.
It would. But you'll notice, like, it's really pronounced when they are making out on the back of his motorcycle. She's deliberately at a lower angle than he is.
Right.
To make him look more masculine.
And he's probably
bigger.
sitting very straight and she's slumped over.
She's she's slumped coming up at him and he's over her sitting straight up. So, yeah, made to look that way.
This is going to be complicated.
This is like the only actual, beside the rendezvous they have with Meg Ryan and Anthony Edwards, it's like the only time they're outside of, like, where it's more like a date.
Yeah.
When they're outside of Top Gun.
And then the sex scene, of course.
Well, yeah, that part. But
right.
We can't fast forward through that this time. We're going to have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Oh, the for rent sign's already there on her house.
Yeah, because this is temporary. She's not staying there.
Well, later, in the third act of the movie, he drives by and sees and looks. They made a point of the sign
I do
she had left.
That. Yes.
Okay, this scene, the elevator scene, is a pickup. It was filmed much later. That's why she's wearing that hat.
Her hair changed?
Her hair changed, yeah. And his hair is longer, as you can see. Yeah. And again, he's just all greasy.
Why did they add this?
Why did they add it?
Like you pointed out, they literally just came from a date scene, and here they are kind of doing it again. Why?
Your MIG sighting is really important.
I think it had something to do with adding more of the romance into the story.
But why not put a scene in between them?
I don't know.
I agree. I don't know why they decided to do it this way. And she was a lawyer. Wasn't she in The Accused?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of, with Jodie Foster.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all right. Just couldn't place it. You can see her hair's darker from the back of her head. And it's Commander Interruptus here. So this was 1986. This was this the movie that made him Tom Cruise?
People knew who he was from like Risky Business and all of that, but this is the one that made him, like, holy shit, you're a megastar now. He had enough success and even clout himself to say, no, I want this, I want that. They kind of had to court him a little bit.
I told him he didn't even have a woman here. Really? You know what she said? She said, well, he probably doesn't have one, he's got 8.
They make these references, like right there, Goose just did, about
AIDS,
8 women, like he's a philanderer, a wandering pee-pee, like he's that kind of guy. But he shows, he shows he's like, he goes for what he wants. That's what he says to Kelly McGillis. He's like, yeah, I go for what I want. Yeah.
Right.
But you never see him really screwing around with anybody else or being kind of lecherous.
He meets her right away.
Right. So they say he has this reputation. But you never really see it. And here, this analyzation scene inside some Top Gun classroom, it looks like. I'm guessing that what they're looking at is supposed to be radar.
Something like that.
Like it's, I'm not quite sure. They don't explain what it is. Like it's like a.
No, I get it.
Yeah, vector graphic or something. It's very strange.
But in computer terms, we call it a vector graphic.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were going to pick that up.
Of course I was.
That's for all you Explorers fans out there. So she, like an adult, like a mother, she corrects him.
She chastises him.
Basically, she knows what he needs to learn. He doesn't respond well to it, yes, but she knows he needs to hear these things.
If you think you're dead.
Well, that's a big gamble with a $30 million plane, Lieutenant.
Yeah. I really do like your idea of, what I don't entirely agree with it, but I think it leads to an interesting thought process for me anyway, that this is a coming of age story and everyone has their role in helping him do that. Mm-hmm. And just like in Star Wars, his Obi-Wan has to die for him to grow up a little bit more. And I'm actually kind of curious where that will leave Maverick in the sequel, because I think, you know what?
Because he's supposed to be the mentor.
Well, the thing is what I don't know is what none of us know is you and I have, I think, just got to the foundation of Maverick, the character and all that stuff and what's going on in this movie. Will the new writers, who I assume are not the same writers from this one, will they pick up on that? And will they continue that story of growth and all that? I mean, we see him with Jennifer Connelly. So he's obviously in a relationship, but where will his personal life be, at this point? Because clearly he has not become a Viper, grounded with a family and all that. Obviously he's still very much Maverick, but I'll just be curious to see where they take that character, because I don't think his story is about growth in the next one. At least not in that sense. He's more like the aging dinosaur at that point.
Yes, but I don't think Tom Cruise would want to make the movie if his character hadn't gone through some kind of change, hadn't grown and matured.
Oh, I'm sure he will. I don't think he's going to be a 55-year-old version of himself. I think he has gone through a lot. I think he's going to be a bit more mellow. I think he's going to be more thoughtful. Yeah.
But I think he's still going to have that kind of killer instinct that's not just instinctive way of flying. I think killer instinct was the wrong phrase. We're at the boring sex scene right now. And I say boring because I was watching this earlier this afternoon and it was like putting me to sleep. I was like, good Lord, can you kiss faster?
I know, my God.
I was like, Tom Cruise, you're thrusting so slowly. I was like, please, go faster. Anyway.
This is just painful to watch.
I wouldn't even say it's like hot. It's just kind of.
It's not. It's lethargic.
Boring. Yeah. Literally, I remember it being a little bit more dynamic. It's literally just them standing and then lying down, and that's it. There's no other change of shot. The scene
in the elevator had more passion than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, given their dynamics, she should have been on top.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
He could have tried to roll her over, and she would have been like, "No, like this." You know. I know it's not Tom Cruise's style, but I think this movie it is, dude. This is a fun movie, and I enjoy this movie.
Well, yeah,
but I think it would have been made even better had they given Maverick more human reactions. You know, he can be what he wants to be in public to people, but like when Goose dies, you know, when he's in the bathroom in his underwear, and you know they put like some sort of powder on his lips so he looks, you know, white and flushed and all that. But fuck, let me see him drop a tear. You know, he just lost his best friend, you know, and he's trying to be so cool and pose for the camera and all that. That's very much Tom Cruise. And I want to see him be a little more real. You know, I think this movie, as good as it is, would have aged even better had they added just one or two scenes of some real humanity in it.
Okay. I have some thoughts on that. I don't think that's anyone's fault. I just think that Tom Cruise had not gotten to that place yet as an actor. I think later on in his career, I think he could definitely do it now. I think he's grown a lot as an actor.
Yeah.
I think he's very aware of what his strengths are.
Oh, 100%.
And I think he's much more capable of showing emotion at the appropriate time now than he was then. So I think...
Like Magnolia?
Yeah, you can go to Magnolia. But, I mean, look at other things you've seen him do that you wouldn't have suspected. Like Tropic Thunder when he's being funny.
Right.
Like, I think he's grown into different areas of acting. Or what about Eyes Wide Shut? Look,
Yeah.
I mean, he pulled off a very dramatic role.
Sure.
And if you had watched Eyes Wide Shut immediately after watching Top Gun, you would have thought, wow, okay, he's capable of a lot more. But I just think, he wasn't there yet. He just wasn't there.
Do you think that's what it was, or you just think that's not the script they wrote?
A combination of both, I think, probably.
Okay.
I think like the beginning of the movie, I think they didn't want to show him vulnerable, like you mentioned. It would be wise to show him showing a little vulnerability, but I think maybe the director, the writer, the producers didn't want him to show a tear, like you say. I don't think they wanted that. I think they've got dudes with no shirts on. They've got sweat pouring. They got muscles.
I get it.
They got Rick Rossovich posing for no one, like for some reason.
Well, then, you know, even when, like, in that scene when he's talking to Kelly McGillis at her house, and she's like, your encounter with that MiG is so important to my work and so on. I would have liked for him to say, you know what I want to tell you about that? I was scared. You know, and have no tear, no anything, but just say, I was scared. I was afraid that I was going to make a mistake and I was going to lose my friend. I was going to lose myself. But I had to bury that deep inside because when I'm up there, I can't think like that. And use it as also a way to show why he is the way he is. Because if he stops and thinks, he's dead. You know, and he even says that in the Top Gun room when he says, if you think, you're dead. You know. And have him explain that thought of, I was scared shitless, you know? But it's like, it makes me think of that line from Get Shorty. When Travolta had just gone to go get Rene Russo, who was being held, you know, kidnapped from Delroy Lindo. And he pulled a gun on him. And he just acted cool. And he's like, hey, blah, 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 talked his way out of it. And at the end, or they get in the car and they're driving home, and Rene Russo says, I can't stop shaking. I'm so scared. She goes, aren't you scared? He goes, well, I was scared then, not scared now. How long do you want me to be scared? He admits, yeah, I was scared then. You just couldn't see it because I had to play the role, But he says, yeah, of course I was, at least something.
That was some of the best flying I've
I hate to interrupt that thought process, but we're at another scene here where
topless
they're
guys
seemingly just hanging around
sweating
naked
their balls
for
off.
no reason. They're outside of the shower, yet there's still steam everywhere.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer's trying not to look like he's flexing, but he clearly is. They're all standing around very.
He's holding himself very stiffly.
Well, he's just like he's pushing his chest out like.
Yeah, yeah.
It's But I don't think they'd be wearing their dog tags right now.
I think they do. I think they wear them all the time.
Even when they're just out of the shower?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. It's like a wedding ring?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
really. Yeah, I think they just get in the habit. They stay on all the time. What if they were in the shower and they called, red alert, get in your planes. You have to have those tags with you. You can't just, I got to go to my room. No, fuck you. They need to be on. This movie in particular, I know I've been aware of this with him for a long time, but this movie really highlights it. Mm-hmm. That's the name of it. Fighter Weapons School. Especially in this movie, Tom Cruise is constantly posing. And I actually find it quite distracting.
Posing?
He's always striking a pose. Like, just watch him. Even when he's putting down a cup of water, he's like, I mean, you're not going to see anyone
Maybe
listening.
he just does that naturally.
It's something
Is he posing right here? Is he sitting on the bed? I mean,
of course it should go to something like this.
Yeah.
But,
here they're playing the sad theme. I call it the sad theme.
Right.
They play this when Goose dies, and it's this very kind of slow, melodic kind of, I think there's a bit of guitar in there.
Right.
Oh, hey, well, this is just before Goose dies.
Yeah.
Because everything's good right now, so something bad has to happen.
I like this. I like this right here. He's technically brought her as his date, but who does he have his arm around? Who is he basically snuggled up with? Goose's wife.
Meg Ryan.
I like that, Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at the way her leg's kind of on him.
I know. I noticed that. Like, I literally just noticed that, thinking, Jesus Christ. But
I think it's like a trio. She loves him.
He is their Cameron.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, he's the Cameron of this dynamic.
Like, in his own way, he probably really loves Meg Ryan. And she probably loves him.
That's a Ferris Bueller reference,
yes,
in case you've forgotten who Cameron is. But yes, Ferris Bueller. The little boy is Goose's son, Bradley.
Yeah.
Who is in the sequel.
Yep.
Played by Miles Teller.
With the same mustache.
With the same mustache, yes.
Can't just say it's Goose's kid. Got to do the mustache. Yeah.
And he's probably going to be singing Great Balls of Fire. In that trailer, there's a brief glimpse of him at the piano.
I know. They're going to do something.
Yeah.
He probably is playing Great Balls of Fire.
It's got to be Great Balls of Fire. Yeah. And this is this is Meg Ryan's first role.
Very first?
I think this is her first screen.
It's one of her early ones for sure.
And she does a great job.
Yeah, she's good.
Totally buy that they're married. Totally fits.
You big stud.
It feels like it's a real marriage, like they fit together.
Yeah, they're playful.
Yeah. And you get the sense that she really loves Maverick, but it's more of like a brotherly, almost sexual.
You know what I think? I think had Goose not died, within 5 years,
I think she would have hooked up with Maverick.
She'd have boned Maverick. They would have hated each other for it.
Yeah.
It would have happened some drunk night.
Yeah, there would have been one night. Yeah, when
like Goose
was at a conference.
No. Goose got let's say he didn't die in that plane accident and he just got horribly hurt. She's sitting there. They're in the waiting room, and he puts his hand on her leg to console her, and then she does something, and it's like, oh shit, I got a boner, and then they do it.
Yeah, right.
It would have been like a thing where it's just like they both wanted it, but they're like, shit, That's what I think.
See how he's towering over her?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. They were making out on the motorcycle, if you weren't watching with us. But yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. It would have led to that eventually. Yeah.
And Goose would have killed him. He would have known. He would have woken up and he would have known. He'd have seen it in their eyes.
Goose isn't the type that would do that.
All right, he wouldn't have killed him, but he'd have known.
He would have figured it out.
If it were a different kind of sequel, a sequel made 5 years later from this, that event would have happened. Goose would have woken up, seen it in her eyes, and he would have had to forgive him.
Speaking of Meg Ryan, do you think we're going to see her in the sequel?
I wondered about that. I bet we do.
There's a brief moment where he's hugging somebody.
I'd have to know.
I paused it, and it's a woman with hair that looks like...
Is that right?
Meg Ryan's hair, so it could very well be her.
I believe that she'll show up. Either it'll be one scene, whether it be in person or on a phone, but where she'll call him and say, hey, my boy is in your class, your Top Gun class. Take care of him. I can't lose another one. It'll be that, and that'll be it. I want to see all these guys back. I want to see Rick Rossovich back. Yeah, I know we're not going to, but I want to. I wish we could.
Well, I don't think we're going to see... Well, they haven't mentioned it. Anyone, really.
Val Kilmer.
Except for Val Kilmer is going to make a brief
it'll be
appearance. This is one of the infamous scenes.
Yeah.
And one of the more memorable death scenes in kind of movie history. People, I think, would flag Goose's death as the... don't you think?
Yeah.
Kind of alongside Spock's death is like a very tragic moment in movie history, I think.
I'm too close for missiles. I'm switching to guns. Ice, fire, or clear.
See, right here in this moment, if Iceman had been...
Did you notice throughout this scene? Because this is their training.
Yeah.
Did you notice that not once do they cut to the cockpit of Jester or Viper? Not once.
Well, it doesn't say they're actually going up against them.
But this is still training, is the point.
But it doesn't mean... It could be other people flying the plane.
But I think there's a purpose for this.
Okay, right.
I think the purpose is to keep this uneasy. This is not a game. Make this feel more real and there's more tension. If we kept cutting back to Viper or Jester, we feel like this is a game. And then it suddenly becomes like too real, too fast. But like this is... I think they needed an action beat, and while they weren't going to pull guns out, but they needed to make this feel real. I think that's why.
Well, now that you mention it, I think you're right. The scene would have been thrown off if they were cutting back to...
Because then they'd be back
the
to
other
their
pilots.
Woohoo! There comes Jester. It's too playful.
Yeah. And I know that they're supposed to be in San Diego, right?
Yeah, Miramar.
But they're over land, and now they're over the water.
Yeah, you and I kind of identified this oddity.
A bit of a continuity error.
It really is, because in all the shots, there's no water.
You never see the water.
Inside.
No, it looks like they're in the desert.
They're over the desert.
And then they're all of a sudden over water.
Yeah.
And this, actually, something like this did happen in real life not long after the movie, so it's possible.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Through some kind of malfunction of the mechanics, like the one I don't know if it was the co-pilot or maybe it was just single seater. Yeah, he hit the canopy. Okay, we're back to the sad theme. It's very sad. It's very sad. Immediately we know Goose is dead. You can tell from the copious amounts of blood on his face. And the green in the water, I never really... I should have investigated what that was supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a marker of where they landed, so that the rescue crew can find them.
Oh yeah, totally. It's the water equivalent of a smoke signal,
a flare.
A flare.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. It's neon, so they can see it. Yeah.
Okay. He literally says, "You've got to let him go, sir." Like emotionally.
Yeah. That was. I even said when we were watching, "Do you mean physically or metaphorically?"
Like he just died. Give me a moment.
Maybe he's just sleeping.
You wanna hum the final countdown music? Dum dum, dum 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 dum. All right. So, we don't know how long Goose has been dead at this point, but Maverick is in...
Oh, I don't think it's been... I think this is the day
This is the day of, because it said he's in a hospital, but he's sitting there in his underwear in a bathroom, it looks like. Or in a shower? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So he must have just gotten back. Maverick always seems to be in the need of a shower, it seems.
Here's my responsibility. My squad in Vietnam.
I don't think this... I see what they were going for, and I understand what you said. You know, they were never going to make, and I agree, they were never going to make Maverick appear too weak or too, not for, I don't want to say feminine, but just less masculine. But I really think it would have done the movie a favor to have him be more, not relatable, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Just more human. I mean, really. I mean, if any scene called for it, it's the death of Goose. You know, yes, he says here, I miss him, I want him back. And the words are all there. But I just feel like it's not Tom Cruise's fault. I really do think it's the movie as written. I think that's the kind of movie that Bruckheimer and I forget the other guy. That's just the movies they made. Tony Scott, too, for that matter. I think that's just the kind of movie they made, where the men characters in their movies don't react that way.
I'll be here if you need me, okay?
You know, I realize that I'm slightly over analyzing this, but I think the portrayal of Maverick in regard to the death of Goose is a little cheesy or flat in my, just a little.
Did you just say cheesy? What? What's going on? What'd I miss?
I think, well, while you were in the latrine, I do believe that the death of Goose is, from the way they're showing it, showing Maverick's reaction, is a little false. Because he's so... It's all played in the music, and it's played in the cutting and all of that. I feel like he's reacting the way he thinks someone should react. You know, like I said, I'm totally over analyzing this, and I'm fully aware of that.
A tad.
But he and like you said, maybe part of that is just Tom Cruise at this point in his career. He just hadn't quite gotten a hold of that yet, because what I see is an actor playing sad. That's what I'm seeing, and maybe I'm just reading into it because of that.
No, you're not. I agree. I think it could have been done better. I think at this point in Tom Cruise's career, I think he did the best he could. But I just don't think he was there yet. I don't think he could quite pull it off yet.
Yeah.
God, I love flying with you, Maverick.
Yeah, because I don't think Tom Cruise at this point, you know, I don't think he knew how to do this without posing and all of that. I just think it's part of what he does.
Okay, I mean, you're going to have to show me more poses, because we haven't really gotten into the posing.
Yeah, I'd have to call them out literally as they happen.
Okay.
Like, he's very much a fan of doing something with his hand.
With his hand? Especially,
like, take note, he wears his watch on his left hand, so he's right-handed.
Yeah.
It'll vary often, not always, of course. Now that I said
like how he puts it on.
No, okay. It'll be like there's a scene like he ends up in a bar soon. He's just drinking water.
Yeah.
When Kelly McGillis comes to say goodbye or something.
Right.
And he goes to put the cup down, and he does it very slow, puts his hand down. He's just kind of posing like, I'm so tough and strong that I have to do it slowly as not to break this delicate glass, and it's just this like, you could freeze frame any moment and he's a cool guy having a drink, I feel like he's ever posing.
I know exactly which moment you're talking about. Maybe that's because he was posing.
Well, I think he is. I think he very much is. Yeah.
Oh, I like this music right here.
So do I. Did it?
Well, I also like I call it the burnout music. It's because the guitars come in, but they're like
when he gets in the plane.
Yeah,
here.
Right here.
Yeah,
it's coming in. Hold on.
The burnout music. Oh yeah, that's burnout music. He's hit rock bottom.
Yeah, it's like slightly out of tune. It's like, yeah, I'm not in sync anymore.
Yeah,
literally. Oh, have you seen the music video of the theme song?
Danger Zone?
No, the opening theme. No. It's the cheesiest 80s video you'll ever see. It's shot in an airplane hangar, and they have 2 airplanes in there. And it's the guy who plays the guitar, who does the guitar part of the song, and then the guy who wrote the song, Harold Faltermeyer,
right,
on piano. And he's just doing the piano, and the guy, they'll just cut back and forth between the guys as they're like doing their riffs, and it's like the cheesiest thing you could ever watch. It's great. You should watch it. That's my point. See, I never liked the way Sundown is aggressive with Tom Cruise here, with Maverick, because he knows that Goose has just died and that he's probably a little fragile. But he's yelling at him like, man, you could have had him. You could have had him. And it's like, dude, relax.
But in his defense, I do like, it's a couple scenes later or something, when they're at graduation and someone says, is he going to show up? And they cut to Sundown and he goes, can you blame him if he doesn't? He's dealing with a lot. He actually defends him,
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of a nice thing. Like, he's like, oh yeah. Because he realizes right now in this moment, oh, he's not ready,
He just might not make it back. Keep sending him up.
I remember you and I questioned the end of this scene.
Oh, yeah.
This guy. We're not there yet.
No, we're not. Well, this moment right here, this is the one moment where Iceman
lets it down.
Kind of lets down his wall and speaks as an actual person.
Yeah.
Whose last name is Kazansky?
Kowalski. Or is it Kazansky?
I think it's Kazansky. But we don't, if we get his first name, I don't know if anyone actually ever speaks
recall.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, now is that Wolfman or Hollywood?
I think it's Wolfman.
Okay.
Hi, it's Wolfman.
Okay.
I think he's calling Kelly McGillis.
You think he's calling Kelly McGillis?
Maybe he is her nephew.
Because right there,
it cuts to her. So clearly it's implied he was talking to her.
Yeah. Interesting. Weird.
Weird. I feel like there was a missing scene that explains his connection.
Maybe they shot her the other side of the conversation, but they just cut it out.
Yeah, maybe.
You're right. See, he is.
This isn't the scene. This isn't it.
Well, he still looks like he's posing though.
No, right. I know, but this isn't the one I'm talking about.
I know what you mean though. I think I know what you mean. But speaking of cut scenes, they did shoot a scene of him visiting Goose's grave.
Oh.
Shot it, never used it. And apparently you can find pictures, but never video, no. But they did have it in there initially.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm glad it's not there.
Too much.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Didn't need it. I mean, it was cut out for a reason. I think they were right.
I agree.
I'd like to see it, but in the movie, no. I don't think it would be necessary.
It's good to see you.
Again, they got him kind of looking a little pale.
Yeah.
A little gray and ashen, I think. See, like I'm in mourning, you know.
Right. He's wearing all black.
Yeah.
It's not your responsibility.
She doesn't give a shit. She's completely unconnected to the whole thing.
Well, no,
she didn't. She went on a date with him and Goose and all that. Like, she should be like, oh my God, I feel so sad too. But no, she's doing what Meg Ryan did. You know, she's acting like the adult, and he's just pouting. Not to say that you can't mourn your friend, but you know, I think to go back to the whole Kirk thing, this is like Kirk when Spock died. You know, he doesn't, or this would be more like if McCoy died, really, because he's not the Spock character in him, but he knows what he needs to do. He needs to suck it up and move forward, but he's just wallowing in his own shit, and you know, he's reacting like a young person would.
Thank you. If I wanted help, really, I would have asked for it.
And she's having to be the adult and say, "Hey, it's cool. Move on, man."
Too late.
Well, I think what she's doing is, to quote a phrase, tough love.
Yeah.
More than likely, that's what it is. It's like, you're gonna sit around, you're gonna cry, or you're gonna go out there and you're gonna do something about it. Come on,
exactly.
Like, come on, you got to keep going.
I mean, that's what Tom Skerritt's making him do. He's making him soldier through it.
So long, Pete Mitchell.
And then here she is. I got that job, by the way. I'm leaving. Bye. You know, it's like, she's kind of a bitch if you think about it. He's like, well, wait, didn't we have a thing?
Yeah, weren't we like in love or something? Like, we made out on my motorcycle.
Like, literally, you got your job, your promotion, because of info I gave you, and now you're leaving? And he shows up to her house, she's gone. Like, she's not playing around.
Right. So he's at Viper's house.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
And she recognizes him immediately.
Yeah, you and I talked about that. I think that's probably just because of him being the son of the guy Tom Skerritt knew.
Mm-hmm.
Because much like, what's that one movie with an officer and a gentleman? You know, I'm pretty sure it said, like, towards the end of that movie, when he basically thanks Louis Gossett Jr., he's like, you know, I couldn't have done this without you. You know, I love you so much. You're like a dad to me. I could swear.
He says something like that?
Maybe I'm mixing up my movies, but I could swear Louis Gossett Jr. basically says to him, there's one of you every freaking year. And this is you're this year, you know. And he's like, I love you too, kid, but next year's another year. You move on, I'll move on.
That's like,
no, because at the end he's going to like get in his car or get on his motorcycle to drive away or something, and he hears the same shit, like the new recruits, being told the same stuff, and he's like, holy shit, it really is just life repeating itself. Mixing up a different movie. But
partly
the point I think
I think it was implied, not necessarily spoken about.
Well, I know I've seen a movie where it's said, but I think also maybe Tom Skerritt's wife was like, oh, you know, it's you're the guy this year, you know, because Tom Skerritt probably comes home, this goddamn Maverick, you know? And she's like, oh, who is it this year? Well, this year it's Maverick. Last year it was, you know, Bozo or whoever. It was all clowns last year. Right. He's like, now it's all predators.
Yeah. Well, I think that
this to me highlights what the difference in two strong macho men. Tom Cruise, again, ever posing, you know, trying to look so cool, and he does. He looks cool. He does. But he looks like he's performing. Tom Skerritt, effortlessly freaking cool, you know. Yeah, and he's in charge. Like, there's no question. He's in charge. And he wears it with ease. You know, that's the difference in age. You know, in the sequel, that'll be Tom Cruise effortlessly being cool and in command.
No disgrace.
Yeah, but as the teaser trailer showed, he's still getting, like, dressed down by...
wasn't really getting dressed
bald
down.
White men. Now it's Ed Harris, looking like the Crypt Keeper
by the husk of Ed Harris.
Like, it's like, whoa, Ed Harris, did they make you look like that?
Like, you should have been a 2-star admiral by now.
Yeah, instead you're a captain.
Yeah.
Why is that?
And against your best efforts, you refuse to die.
It's
It's like, gosh, hit it on the nail, Ed Harris.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to say he has been doing. Like if he's been serving this whole time or if he's just come back.
No, I'll bet he's a test pilot or something.
Has he fought anywhere else?
I don't think so.
Did he go into Iraq or?
Oh, good question.
Anything, any kind of
I would have to say no, because
situation.
they even say in dialogue, you're the only person in service that's ever fought anyone. So right. I would say no. Because Iraq wasn't about planes. It was ground warfare, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, no, our Air Force didn't have any opposition.
Right.
Basically.
They may have been there, but there were no dogfights or anything. Yeah. I want to say he's been serving, or, maybe even that opening scene is a bit of test piloting,
Yeah, I think actually the opening scene, or as close to the opening is... I'm imagining is when we are introduced to Maverick, is when we see him in that shot where he's wearing the pressure suit and the light comes up on his face.
I disagree.
I think that's going to be when we're reintroduced to Maverick.
Nope. I say that's in the end of Act 2. I think the opening of that movie is the opening of the trailer. I really do. I think it's going to open like that, just like the first movie did. And he's testing that airplane, and they're going to tell him, Maverick, shut that plane down. It's not ready to do this. No, that's okay, guys. And he pops it up and does what he does. Then he gets pulled in Ed Harris's office, just like Strickland pulled him in. Maverick, that's a $40 million aircraft, and you can't do that. And he's like, I'm a Maverick.
Well, agree to disagree there.
Yeah, I really think that'll be the opening of the movie.
Okay.
I really do. And he may lose the plane.
You mean like may crash?
Yeah, he'll be fine, but he might crash the plane.
Okay.
I don't think he will, because maybe they want to show he is actually good at what he does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he'll probably land, because Tom Cruise don't crash. That's just all it is.
Well, except if he flies through a jet wash. That's what he does.
Yeah, but he never crashes of his own, piloting.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you have to depart immediately. We have a crisis situation.
So they made this is the graduation. It's not really made a big deal of.
Yeah.
But you
Iceman won.
Blink and you'll miss it, but Iceman won. Yeah, he gets the trophy. And it's not made a big deal out of. Like, it's not the point of the movie anymore. It's become about Maverick getting his confidence back.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the real victory.
Give me a call. I'll fly with you.
That was cool. I like that.
Man, he looks awesome with that mustache, though.
He looks like a badass.
He looks like $1 million. Like,
he does.
I wish I could look that cool.
But I like that. If you can't get a Rio, I'll fly with you.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, this is Bullseye. The communication.
In Rio, we found out actually means something. It's
radar
integrated.
No, that's what you said.
Interfacing.
Like, radar
officer.
Intercepting officer, something like that. Yeah. And the pilots are referred to as a driver.
Mm-hmm.
You will return fire. Those MiGs carry
Must be a Navy thing, because don't they refer to, the quote-unquote pilot of a submarine as a driver? I think they do.
I can't say for sure.
I think they do. I think it's a Navy thing. Like, if you, are flying, driving, whatever, they call it the driver.
Uh-huh.
Maverick, you back them up with Merlin on ready 5.
See how sweaty they all just got?
Well, they're back on the aircraft carrier.
And there's no AC, but there's huge fans that's not doing that.
Just blowing the heat around.
Yeah.
But with regard to Maverick, is he the best?
Yeah, see, he did preface that by saying it's not personal. Like, I just don't think that he's the best person for this right now.
Yeah, and that's a perfectly reasonable assessment to make. And, like, literally, you had the whole class of Top Gun. You're telling me they couldn't get another pilot and co-pilot? Like, why take the guy who just lost someone who's clearly having confidence issues?
Commander Strickland knows Maverick. And
he's not the one who picked these people out, is
he? But he wanted Maverick because he knows Maverick to go on the,
Maybe he did pick Maverick. You're right.
Well, he did. He singled out Maverick.
How do you know that?
In that moment right there. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, I mean, he literally said, I chose you guys. He defended Maverick for sure.
I don't. It's implied that he's saying, like, I want you and you to do this. You and you were doing that. I think it's implied that he constructed that pair up. Yeah.
All right.
See, like I said in the beginning of the commentary, this ending kind of reflects the beginning.
Yeah.
But it also got me to watch the beginning of Hot Shots, which Hot Shots is a parody of. And the music is so much like the music here. It's like,
it is.
No, it's like, it's good music, but it's like you can't take it seriously because it's
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
15 miles.
And all I can see is John Cryer wearing glasses with the neon fish in there. It's like movie just the Hot Shots is so good it almost ruins Top Gun.
Black, 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 black. Burnoosh. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?
Do what?
No, not yet. Where he does this. I love that.
You mean when he like says ready to go, like he gives the hand
he
gesture?
Does thumbs up and then salute. But he does it in the trailer for the second one. He does it fast.
He does.
Fast and hard, and it looks awesome. Where he goes, yeah. And you're like, yeah.
I think he must do it here.
I know he does it. I saw it in the movie when we rewatched it. I just can't remember where it happened.
I'm on your left side, a little low.
Maverick's up and ready in alert 5s. Good, good.
See, is that sweat or is that a tear?
That's sweat.
It's right under his eye. Okay.
It's just a coincidence.
Okay.
I'm hearing the music to Iron Eagle. Do 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 do.
Oh right, okay. Your rendition was.
It was a little off. I know.
I was trying to get there. Just like in the beginning, it went from 1 to 2. This goes from 2 to 4. Bandits.
Right.
And this time it's for real. The danger is real. The combat is real.
You know, I will say, as far as the aerial stuff, you know, a lot of it looks fairly good.
Oh, well, yeah.
But I do wish they had done a little better job of geography. Because
you mean like spatial?
Yes,
so
like
we know
I
where
literally
they are
don't
in
know
relation
where people,
to each other.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think they did the best job of that.
No.
It's just a collection of cool shots that don't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Without the context of further. Like,
do you think Iron Eagle did a better job of that?
I want to say yes, but there it is. Boom.
Oh,
boom.
there you go.
Yeah. I want to say yes, but I could be wrong.
I mean, you think some of this stuff looks good. Imagine what we're going to see in the sequel.
It's going to look so good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going after him. I'm bringing it around to the left. We got 4 on our tail. That makes 6.
I mean, for 1986, I think this was...
Yeah, I'm not knocking that, because I know, it would have been even harder back then. But it would have been possible. But I just think there was also not enough experience in making movies like this to even know what they needed, you know, to convey that geography. And, I mean, you're filming something that's taking place in, you know, the full 3 dimensions. I mean, that's hard to do. You know, I get that. But like they say, Spielberg is the expert when it comes to geography of setting up.
Who says that?
I saw it in a documentary, and more than one people talked about it. How, and they showed a scene where you know very quickly where every person is on a certain street when something happens. Like, he knows how to do it, and he's very, very good at it and making it feel organic. So I wonder how he would do an airplane fight, for example, how he would stage it.
Come on, kid, hang in there.
You see how more guys just kind of showed up inside the radar room there?
Well, yeah, they all want to see this go down.
They're not watching anything, though. What are they looking at? A radar screen?
Probably radar screen.
How entertaining is that? Look at that dot. Just moved an inch over to the right. This is exciting.
I suppose so.
You should have had the guy who went from Spaceballs, you know. I've lost the sweeps, I've lost the creeps, and I've lost the beeps, or whatever it is.
What?
It's not all he's lost.
Good recovery, Mav. Okay, let's get in there. Well, we gotta help Ice. Come on, let's get back and engage, Maverick. Come on! It's not good. Get in there, Maverick!
They just need to pan lower and see his heart beating out of his chest.
Oh, I know.
I knew it! Shit! God damn it, Maverick! Maverick, you can't leave him! Come on! Maverick! What the hell are you doing?
Maverick!
Yeah. Merlin is like the most
Annoying,
unhelpful, like, backseat driver you could possibly have.
Yeah, just calm down and go, Maverick, I know. We need to
Yeah, you think he would do something like that? And it's the same thing in the beginnings when he's with Cougar. Cougar! What are you doing, Cougar? Or too low, Cougar! Instead of going like, hey, Coug, you might want to like pull up a bit.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I know what you're feeling, pal.
We're running out of gas, Cougar!
But I really need you to do this.
He's channeling Goose's energy right now.
Yeah.
Where are they?
155 miles. Too big, dead ahead. Closer, 800 miles an hour. I see him. I'm gonna take him down the left side.
We should like dub over like when he's like having that contemplative moment where he's saying, talk to me, Goose, talk to me. We should overdub Obi-Wan's voice in there and saying like, use the Force, Luke. It was the same moment almost.
You know what they don't do in this movie? They do not explain in any way what the Rio does. And in the context of these dogfights and everything, like they appear completely superfluous.
They just seem to look around and like
and call out the obvious.
And like well, look at the radar, which is one thing they do. But that's basically what they're just there to like be an extra set of eyes almost. It's like
they really don't show their function very well.
Maverick, check the guys to the north. Check the guys to the north. Banking left.
It's like, could we not accomplish what you're doing with like a rear view mirror or some side views? I'm not sure.
Use your hood. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Maverick, got a MiG coming around on our tail. We gotta get out of here. I can't leave ice. Still coming around. He's gonna get behind us. I'm not leaving my wingman.
It's great you want to follow the rules, Maverick, but if ever there was a time to break them, this would be it.
See, like now he's deciding to play by the rules a little.
Yeah. It's like, don't be an asshole.
And Merlin's the one telling him not to. So, Merlin, who is supposed to be a wise magician, is not in that sense.
Watch that sucker, yeah! Ice, watch out, there's a MiG to your right. He's firing! I'm hit!
Very lucky the plane did not blow up.
Yeah.
Because they were just shot.
Coming in.
So they sent up 2. They knocked down 1.
Yeah.
And so now it's just Maverick and Ice.
Yes.
Why didn't they send up more?
The catapults are broken.
That's right, they were going to. But even initially, why just send 2?
It's a good question. Like, why... Yeah, just send out 2 just by themselves at first. Yeah. I think you would have sent out, like, a squadron.
I mean,
or
why
something.
not? You know, what's it going to cost you?
Apparently quite a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to operate these
Well, yeah,
things,
but I mean, they knew this was this wasn't training. This was real world. Send them up.
That's,
you know.
Yeah.
I got him. Here comes the shot. Black stream! Maverick, move! There's a MiG on your tail! We've got a problem here. We've only got 1 missile left.
Approaching 110 miles, sir.
God damn it.
I got him! He's right on us! He's turned our tail!
100 miles to what?
100 miles out from the aircraft carrier, I think.
I'm not sure.
I think that's what they mean.
You haven't lost him. He's still with us. What are you doing? You're slowing down! I'm bringing him in closer, Merlin. You're gonna do what?
You gonna do what?
Man, his commentary is actually very, very annoying. Oh yeah, this move here, which
Tapping the brakes
repeats like 3. He does like 3 times. Yeah, like I'm gonna hit the brakes. He's gonna fly right by. It's actually, it's a real move. It's not. It's possible is what I meant. Like from what I've read, it is possible. It's nobody refers to it that way, I guess.
As tapping on the
brakes.
brakes.
Hitting the brakes. but it is possible as a maneuver in slowing the plane down quickly if you change the angle, which is what he does. I mean, he's you see him flipping controls like he's pulling back on his elevator or something to change the angle of the plane so it'll drastically slow down. So it is possible in that sense.
Excuse me, something I should know about?
There he is.
Still, with that helmet on, it doesn't quite look like him.
Yeah.
By him, we mean Tim Robbins.
Hey, we're landing
now.
You want to get out of
the way? Run for your life! Start scattering. See, now they're Iceman. Like I said in the beginning, Iceman and Maverick have worked together now.
Yeah.
See, they're in sync, and they buzz the tower together.
Yeah.
You.
Ha ha. Here, let's see if we get his name. Iceman.
Oh, Iceman. I don't know if they show him getting out of his plane. I don't think they do.
Shit, it's right there.
It's right there.
Like Tom Gazansky, I think. I think it said Tom.
You could read that? Okay.
Yeah.
And Topper Harley literally does that same move.
What were you?
When he was raising up his helmet, they do that exact same move in Hot Shots.
He pumps it.
Except he does not say, I'm going to go to Disneyland.
Yeah. Looks like he's about to, though.
Close. It seems so corny.
I know, but it's been ruined.
I know. I thought that was a crock pot. No.
It's a
That's for cooking all day. I remember the day after I saw Hot Shots in the theater, I went to school and I spoiled all the jokes for everybody because I thought it was so funny. All right, well, back to work, everyone. Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah. No one knows how to brood like me.
Did Iceman shoot someone down?
He did.
Okay.
He shot down one plane.
He got one and Maverick got three.
Three, yeah. And he was posing. He's definitely posing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Major pose. Yeah.
Hey, he's good at it.
Oh yeah, he's good at it. Yeah, but
I'm not knocking him. It's just it's an observation.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I'm glad you said that because you were being a little critical.
I realize that. That's why I'm saying it's not meant to sound critical. Jesus, how short is Strickland? If he makes Tom Cruise look tall.
Unless he's wearing lifts here.
I suppose that's possible.
Yeah. I think he is. I think he is wearing lifts. He's probably the same height.
Or he's standing on an apple box or
something like that.
Like I remember that from the Stargate SG-1 episode where they like a Hollywood crew is, oh, here he goes. He's posing with that. Look, he's got to, look how slow he puts it down. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm the most sophisticated beer drinker.
and I'm going to read the newspaper. Because I'm an adult now. That's what adults do.
Okay. Point taken. Yes. You've made it.
Oh, look, I have to dramatically. Yeah.
Oh, look, I heard my song.
Oh, wow.
It definitely wasn't that couple that started the song. No.
Yeah, I have to grit my teeth now. Oh, it hurts so much I have to go. Oh, it's so painful. I'm going to walk out methodically.
And then dramatically turn.
She here? No.
No.
Grip my teeth again. That
well, look at the way he's holding his jacket. You didn't say anything about it.
That means emotion. I'm going to slowly take a drink of my beer. Gulp slowly.
Gulp.
I miss her so much. Oh, here she is.
I heard the best of the best were going to be back here, so...
So what do you think would have been a more appropriate ending? Just on the aircraft carrier? Just roll credits right after that? because he's...
I'm thinking.
He's come full circle, and he's grown. Does he need her? So can it just go out?
No.
Right then and there?
Well, he did. I was going to say he could have gone to Goose's
grave
then, but he already did that with throwing the
dog tags.
The dog, which was horribly disrespectful, by the way. These fucking dog tags. Give it to his wife. For
well,
God's sake.
They're supposed to.
Throw him out to sea?
Well, no. The family's supposed to get one of the dog tags.
Yeah.
That's why there's two of them.
Well, still, don't throw him to sea. Keep him, you fucking asshole.
Oh, yeah. Curtain call.
Yeah.
And it's a good curtain call.
It is.
Unlike one of the more recent commentaries we did, Toy Soldiers, which did not have a good curtain call.
No.
So cool. Yeah. Tom Cruise.
Hey, he is, man.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. Cool moves. Okay, but to answer your question, like, rather than going out on the bar scene, because he basically says, I'm going to go to, I think I'll go to Top Gun, you know? Right. So there's no reason for us at this point in time to think that he does not, in fact, do that. So
there was a guy named Bozo. That's a real pilot.
I see that.
Yes.
Too cool.
Yeah, the credits are rolling now. If you've been listening.
Oh, look!
To us
Let's look at these.
Time.
There's Bio, Vita, Horse, Player, Oregon,
Sunshine,
Circus,
Hollywood,
Jambo.
Flex, Sobs, Tex, Boa, Rat, Jaws. Okay, I buy it. Yeah, the credits are rolling. If you've been sticking with us this long, so
I think perhaps because I really don't like Kelly McGillis showing up at the end. I just don't care for it. I think she left, and that's how she should have left.
It bothers me now.
It feels.
When I was younger, I didn't. It just felt. It felt fine.
It feels
felt okay.
tacked on here.
I was fine with it. I never had a problem with it. But now I think you're right. I think definitely just doesn't work.
Right. I think maybe it could have been him. Because it's clear a little time has passed. You know, he's sitting there. He's so cool.
Yeah, that's what we talked about this in our first viewing. It should have faded to black, faded back up.
Yeah, to show
a passage of time.
But I think maybe showing him getting ready for the day, you know, to go to work, and he's putting on his stuff, and you're like, ooh, what's he doing? What job did he take? You know, in fact, maybe even Strickland could have said, hey, I hear they offered you either, you know, your choice of assignments, and I know it's either Top Gun or test pilot or some shit.
Do you think showing him in going into a class like at the end of The Martian?
Something essentially like that's what I was saying, you know, where he's getting ready, you don't know, and he goes and gets in something where it shows like he got promoted. He's captain now, and they show him driving into the officer's lounge at Top Gun or something to imply that that's the choice he made. And that would have been better, I think. But I know they wanted the girls to be, hey, with their three, you know.
It was kind of, it was par for the course back then.
Yeah,
I guess you could say that's what they just did.
Yeah.
So I don't really blame them for doing that. It was just the thing to do.
No, and I wouldn't have minded it had the movie played their relationship differently. Had she been younger, even, I would have gone for it better. But I don't believe them together. It doesn't work for me.
What if she came in for, like, what if we had ended in that hypothetical way like you just suggested, and then, like, just for a moment, she comes in, smiles at him, and he smiles back, and then cut to black. Like, you're not quite sure where it's going to go. Like, do you remember how the movie The Spectacular Now ended? When Miles Teller shows up?
No.
He shows up after he's been separated from his love interest. The girl
yeah.
from The Descendants.
Yeah.
And it's been months or who knows how long, a year.
Shailene
Woodley. And he comes in, he looks at her and kind of smiles a little bit, and she looks at him and gives a look. You're not quite sure what she's thinking.
Okay, I remember that now. Yes.
And it goes to black, and you're like,
I like that.
And it was perfect. You're like, well, maybe she's moved on. You're not sure. Like,
yeah.
So maybe a moment like that would have been nice.
Yeah, yeah.
To leave you a little bit hanging a little bit as to where they're going to go.
I agree. I think that would, if she's going to come back, yes, have it be like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that better.
And the credits end with that dedication to Art Scholl, which I read was he was one of the pilots of the movie and he died during the filming of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunately. He was a very well-known pilot and, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a Blue Angel type of pilot. And had been doing it for a very long time. And there was an accident. He was in a biplane when he apparently. And yeah. Sorry to end on a down note there.
Well, the credits ended, but we can still give our final thoughts on it. Do you have anything you want?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had a great time revisiting Top Gun. Had it not been for the trailer coming out for Top Gun Maverick, I never would have thought to go back and watch it or even get introspective about it. To really look into the possible subtext, which we did, which was a lot of fun. I never thought of Top Gun having a lot of depth, but I thought that in the story,
and it doesn't.
It doesn't. Story wise, it's pretty thin, but
paper thin
almost. Yeah, but I think there's some subtext in there that you can work with, and I think the movie holds up. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think you can take from it what you want. You can just have fun, not think too much, or you can think about it and still have fun. And I'm really looking forward to the sequel. As of this recording, it's a year away.
Which baffles me because that trailer looks like the movie shot. Like,
it does.
What's taking a year?
So maybe a year from now, we'll do another commentary and we'll talk about the sequel. But until then, we're gonna have to wait a year to find out. But if you listen to the commentary, you have any thoughts on what we discussed for this. For Top Gun, for the subtext in it, or for the possibility of the possibilities that are going to be opened up with the sequel, let us know. Shoot us an email or leave us a comment. We'd be really interested in hearing it. What about you, Justin?
Well, like you said, it was the showing of the sequel trailer that got me interested to go back and rewatch it, and I very much enjoyed it, much more than I really expected to, actually, and to the point where I watched it by myself and invited you over to watch it again.
Yeah, I was quite surprised because your text message had said I had watched it and I'll watch it now. It's like, wait a minute, you want to watch it again? Like twice? Like,
right?
That's a lot of Top Gun in less than 24 hours, but okay.
Yeah, sure. because honestly, I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because I had a good time with it. And the movie's certainly not perfect. It is what it is. But I would say that, in my opinion, the biggest weakness of the movie is the romance part. Other than that, it's a pretty solid movie. Perfect, no, but fun. And I really do hope that the sequel, while it does need to progress the story and move things forward, I do genuinely hope that they take the time to have fun, while Top Gun has some serious moments where they slow down and, deal with the repercussions of someone's death or someone having an emotional reaction to something, the rest of the movie's just goddamn fun. And I really, really hope that they don't over serious this movie up. You know what I mean? That's my hope, personally. So I had a great time rewatching it. This now makes the third time in like a week. And I was not bored at all. I mean, it's Top Gun, man. So I think it's held on for a good reason, And like you said, Hot Shots almost ruins it because it's almost hard to watch the movie and not see Hot Shots. But if anything, I think that's a testament to Hot Shots, like just how well made that movie was, because like they're almost interchangeable, And like I know you had asked when we were watching it, why didn't they mock the volleyball scene in Hot Shots? And I think you really hit the nail on the head. The scene mocks itself. So what were they going to do? And that scene also, you know, sticks out just like the romance scene as like it's too much to mock, you know. But thoroughly enjoyable. I guess I'll just leave it at that. Thoroughly enjoyable, and I'll probably end up watching it again in the next couple months, just for shits and giggles. Yeah. All right. I guess that's it.
I'm Josh. Good night.
I'm Justin. Good night.